On January 7, 1610, Galileo Galilei looked into the night sky and became the first person to observe the moons of Jupiter. Since then, humanity has dreamed of reaching the worlds beyond Earth. In 2013, the sci-fi film Europa Report imagines one of the most fascinating possibilities of all. What if beneath the frozen surface of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, there is water, and maybe even life? To find out, humans launch a spacecraft called Europa 1 on a journey deeper into space than ever before. But this is not just a mission of discovery, it is a mission into the unknown. Now the question is, will they reach Europa? And if they do, what will they find waiting beneath the ice? So let's get into the story. The film opens by showing the spacecraft Europa 1, the ship that has left Earth on a historic journey toward Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Jupiter is incredibly far from Earth, so reaching it will take about 2 years. On board are 6 astronauts. William Shu is the mission commander, Rosa Daska is the pilot, James Corrigan is a junior engineer, Andrei Bloch is the chief engineer, Dr. Daniel Luxembourg is the science officer, and Dr. Katya Petrovna is the marine biologist. Their mission sounds simple on paper, but in reality it is incredibly dangerous. Travel all the way to Europa, search for signs of life, collect samples, and somehow make it back alive. Scientists believe Europa may be hiding a vast ocean beneath its frozen surface. Deep under the ice, the moon may still be geologically active, and that hidden heat could be keeping huge amounts of water in liquid form. And where there is water, there is always the possibility of life. That is what makes this mission so important. Europa is a brutal, frozen world, far colder and more hostile than Earth. But beneath all that ice could be an ocean untouched for millions of years. If life really exists there, then this mission could change human history forever. To survive the long trip, Europa 1 is built with advanced systems, including artificial gravity to reduce the damage that long-term weightlessness would normally do to the human body. Since no deep sleep technology exists for them, the crew has to remain awake for the entire journey. It is a mission that demands not just intelligence and skill, but unbelievable mental endurance. Everyone on Earth watches the launch with hope and excitement. This is not just another space mission. It feels like humanity is stepping into something bigger. At first, things go smoothly. The launch is successful, the ship performs well, and the crew stays in contact with Earth. The early phase of the mission feels calm, almost routine. James often records video messages for his wife and children, and those small personal moments make the journey feel more human. These are not just astronauts chasing history. They are people carrying their families with them into the darkness. But after 6 months, disaster strikes. A solar storm damages the ship's communication system, and all contact with Earth is suddenly lost. That changes everything. Spending months trapped inside a spacecraft is already mentally exhausting, but losing contact with home makes it far worse. Now, no one on Earth knows for sure whether they are alive or dead. The crew is completely on its own, drifting farther into deep space with no guidance and no support. The team gathers to decide what to do next. They know the mission cannot continue properly unless they restore communication, because one of their main goals is to send valuable data back to Earth. So James Corrigan and Andrei Bloch suit up and head outside the ship to repair the damaged system. It is an extremely dangerous spacewalk, and the tension is immediate. Out there, even a tiny mistake can turn fatal in seconds. While trying to fix the problem, something goes wrong. A mistake causes a tear in Andrei's suit, and suddenly his oxygen starts leaking. James reacts quickly and manages to save him, guiding him back toward the airlock. For a brief moment, it seems like they might both survive. But then Andrei notices something far worse. James's suit has been splashed with toxic hydrazine fuel. If he enters the airlock like that, he could contaminate the entire spacecraft and kill everyone inside. Now, the mission faces a cruel choice. Either James comes inside and risks the lives of the rest of the crew, or he stays outside and dies alone in space. Andrei wants to save him, but his own suit is damaged and he is already losing consciousness. The decision falls into James's hands. In that terrible moment, he understands the truth faster than anyone else. There is no way to save him without putting everyone else at risk. So James makes the only choice he can. He pushes Andrei into the airlock, sending him back to safety, and lets himself drift away from the ship. It is a heartbreaking moment. James is terrified, heartbroken, and fully aware that he is about to die. There is no miracle, no rescue, no last-second escape. Just a man alone in the endless dark, trying to stay calm while his final moments slip away. Before he dies, He asks the crew to tell Andre that he knows he tried to save him. Then he sends one final message to his wife and children, telling them that he loves them. Inside the ship, the rest of the crew can do nothing except watch. And slowly, James disappears into the blackness of space. That is the moment the mission truly changes. Up until then, Europa was still a dream. After James dies, it starts to feel like the crew has crossed a line they can never return from. James's death leaves the whole crew shattered, but Andre Bloch takes it the hardest. When he regains consciousness, he breaks down in anger and grief, screaming in frustration because one of his crewmates is gone, and he could do nothing to save him. No one could. After that, the mood inside the ship changes completely. The mission keeps moving forward, but the spirit of the crew feels broken. They still cannot restore communication, and turning back is no longer an option. So they make the painful decision to continue toward Europa, even though no one on Earth even knows whether they are still alive. As more months pass, the sorrow does not hit everyone equally. Most of the crew slowly learns how to function again, but Andre never fully recovers. He is exhausted, unstable, and clearly sleep-deprived, which starts worrying Commander William Shu. That makes the situation even more dangerous because Andre is the ship's chief engineer. If anything critical fails, he is the one they need most. Still, the crew has no choice except to keep going. Month after month, they push deeper into space, carrying grief with them like an extra passenger. After about 20 months, Europa 1 finally reaches orbit around Jupiter, and at last the moon they have sacrificed everything for is almost within reach. By now they have been cut off from Earth for a very long time. So as far as NASA and the rest of the world know, these astronauts may already be dead, but the crew refuses to let the mission die with them. They prepare the landing module and begin the final descent toward Europa's surface. The movie presents Europa as a cold, eerie, almost sacred place, and honestly, it works beautifully. NASA had marked a promising landing area where the ice was thought to be thinner, giving the crew a better chance of drilling down and studying what might be hidden below. The hope is simple but enormous. If there is liquid water under the ice, then maybe there is life there too. Maybe not giant creatures, maybe not anything dramatic at first, but at least some kind of primitive organism. That alone would change everything humanity knows about life in the universe. The landing itself is successful, but there is a problem. The module misses its intended target zone and touches down farther away than planned. That changes everything. The crew quickly realizes they cannot just travel across the frozen surface to the original site, so they are forced to adapt. There is no better option now. If they want answers, they will have to start drilling exactly where they landed. Hours pass on Europa as the crew begins drilling through the thick ice. They have only been on the surface a short time, but strange things already start happening. Ever since entering the Jovian system, their equipment has been acting up from time to time, and now, while sitting on Europa itself, the lander shudders with sudden jolts. The crew tries to explain it scientifically. They wonder if the ice is shifting beneath them, or if some kind of geological activity is disturbing the surface. It is unsettling, but they stay focused on the mission, because that is all they can do. Then, Andre sees something outside. At first, the audience does not get a clear look at it, which actually makes the moment even better. All we see is Andre's reaction. He stares out in shock, as if something impossible has moved across the darkness beyond the ship. He quickly grabs a camera, desperate to record it, but whatever he saw is gone before he can capture proof. When he tries to explain it to the others, he says he saw lights outside, moving in the distance. It sounds unbelievable, because the crew expected at most some kind of tiny microbial life deep below the ice, not visible moving lights on the surface. That is why no one fully believes him. To the rest of the crew, Andre looks like a man crushed by guilt, exhaustion, and trauma. They know he has not been himself since James died. So, from their point of view, this could just be stress finally breaking through, but Andre cannot let it go. He keeps watching the darkness outside, waiting for that strange light to appear again, while everyone else is left wondering whether he has truly seen something extraordinary, or whether Europa is already starting to get inside his head. A full day passes on Europa, and by now the drill has gone more than 3,000 meters down through the ice, but still they have not reached the water below. Then, after more waiting, Dr. Daniel Luxemburg suddenly calls everyone over. At last, they have broken through. The crew gathers around the camera feed and stares into the dark water beneath Europa's frozen shell. This is the moment they came all this way for. At first, they do not see any obvious signs of life. Nothing large, nothing dramatic. But that does not mean the mission has failed. They were never expecting giant creatures in the first place. Their real hope was always to find something microscopic, some tiny proof that life can exist in a place like this. Then everything changes in an instant. a bright, fast-moving light suddenly slams into the drill, damaging it badly. The crew is stunned. No one understands what they just saw. And worse, the broken drill means they can no longer bring back a proper sample the normal way. Technically, they can still try to return to Earth, but going back empty-handed would make this entire mission feel meaningless. They came all this way to prove something impossible. Leaving without hard evidence would turn their greatest discovery into nothing more than a story no one could fully believe. That is when Dr. Katya Petrovna makes a bold decision. She says they did not come all this way just to stop now. If the drill cannot retrieve the sample, then she will go out herself and collect it manually. It is a huge risk, but she volunteers without hesitation, and the crew finally agrees. Wearing her suit, Katya steps out through the airlock and carefully makes her way across Europa's frozen surface toward the location where the ice is thinner. It is a tense, beautiful moment, because every step she takes feels like she is walking on the edge of another world. Against the odds, she succeeds. Katya manages to collect the sample and bring it back inside. When the crew examines it, they discover exactly what they had hoped for: a single-celled organism. It is tiny, but it changes everything. The room fills with relief, disbelief, and joy. They were right. Life really does exist on Europa. For one brief moment, it feels like all the suffering, all the sacrifice, all the deaths might finally mean something. But Europa is not done with them yet. Soon after, Katya notices strange glowing lights moving beneath the ice. They seem to respond to electricity, almost like they are being drawn toward artificial light. Fascinated, she turns off her suit lights so she can see them more clearly. It is the kind of moment that captures the real danger of discovery, the need to understand something so badly that fear gets pushed aside. She leans in, trying to get a better look, but then her footing slips, and in seconds, disaster strikes. Katya falls into the depths below and is lost. With her, the physical sample is lost too. Now the crew is left with only their recorded data, and that may not be enough to convince anyone back on Earth. Worse, they are beginning to understand that Europa is hiding something far stranger than they ever imagined. This is not just a frozen moon with microbial life buried beneath it. There is something active here, something moving, something beyond what they were prepared to find. At this point, the survivors realize they cannot stay any longer. The risk is becoming unbearable, and if they wait too long, all of them may die here. So they prepare for takeoff, hoping they can at least escape with the data they still have. But even that hope is ripped away. When they try to launch, the thrusters fail, and the module crashes back onto Europa's surface. The impact is devastating. Commander William Sue is killed, and the rest of the crew is left shaken and horrified. The lander is badly damaged, and for a while it feels like this is the end. The mission is broken, the crew is broken. Europa has taken almost everything from them. But then Andrei checks the ship and realizes there may still be one last chance. He tells Daniel and Rosa that he thinks he can repair the module enough for a final emergency takeoff. They have only enough energy left for one last attempt, so if this fails, there will be nothing after it. To make the repair, Andrei has to go outside again, and this time Daniel goes with him. The two step out into the frozen darkness, but almost immediately, something goes wrong. Daniel disappears, swallowed by the chaos outside, and Andrei is left alone to finish the repair. Somehow, he manages to do it. He gets the module working again, but the price is his own life. One by one, Europa keeps taking them. In the end, only Rosa Dask remains. She tries to launch the module, desperate to escape, desperate to make sure at least some part of this mission survives. But as she prepares for takeoff, water begins flooding into the craft. Then, in the final horrifying moments, a strange glowing creature appears and attacks. This is the last footage ever recorded from the Europa mission. Months later, NASA finally receives the recovered data. The world watches in shock, trying to piece together what happened out there. What these astronauts found on Europa is almost beyond human understanding. The life on that moon is unlike anything on Earth. It seems drawn to energy, to light, to things our science can barely explain. It belongs to a world so alien, so hostile, and so far beyond human control that it feels as if mankind reached out into the dark and touched something it was never truly ready to meet. And that is where the film ends. Honestly, that is what makes Europa Report so haunting. It is not just about astronauts dying on a mission. It is about humanity finally proving that it is not alone in the universe, only to discover that the truth is far stranger, colder, and more terrifying than anyone imagined.